with that said, we're going to move on to the first team. And this guy, anytime he touched the ball, regardless whether it was punt return or on offense, he always had us holding our breath because we knew he had the ability to take it to the house. And, of course, I'm pretty sure your number one punt returner is Isaiah Mckenzie.
It actually is not.
Let me go through the rest of them, and then we'll see who you got. So we already talked.
He's good.
All right, so we already talked about Jake Camarda and Rodrigo Blankenship. So the punt returner is Isaiah Mckenzie, and my kick returner is Brandon Boykin.
Okay.
All right, so give me your kick returner. Since we already know the kicker and the punter, give me your kick returner and your punt returner for first team.
I definitely agree with you on kick return all day. Brandon Boykin is the man.
Bruh.
I mean, I want to argue that Brandon Boykin is maybe one of the top, I'm not going to say years, but like to me, he feels like one of the top 5 most valuable players in the past 20 years.
I think so, and that's why, because he won the Paul Hornick Award, because dude played DB, he got the ball on offense a little bit, and he played kick return, and not for nothing.
And there's Charles Woodson.
Not for nothing, he was a pretty good punt returner too.
Yeah, I mean, he was like the Charles Woodson, the Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
But at that time, I don't know if we were playing as many games with a big market. I don't know if many people saw him as like we got to see him.
Like, he's tied for first in the SEC all time with 4 TDs on kick return.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now I agree with you on him. On punt return, I can see how you say Isaiah Mckenzie. Isaiah Mckenzie had a lot of touchdowns. But here's the thing about Isaiah Mckenzie. I like him, but, you know, in high school, he used to run 15, 20 yards back, right? And then run forward. You can't do that once you get in college, and he figured that out eventually, but not early on. But he could take it to the house at any time, but sometimes it would be feast or famine, right? He would get in there, and he's good. Like I said, he get in the pocket, he make the move, and he's out. But sometimes one person hit him, and he's down. So my guy was Damian Gary, and that was your second team guy. Damian Gary, anytime he touched the ball, I was like, Mr. Athens, Classic City, that could go to the house.
Well, Isaiah Mckenzie has 5 punts. See, this is why he beat out Damian Gary, because like Damian had 2 TDs on punt return in his career. Isaiah McKenzie is tied in the NCAA all time, number 17 with 5. And
what yardage?
Yardage average, Damian is ahead of him by 2 yards.
And what about total yards?
Total yards, Damian had more than him because Isaiah Mckenzie only did it for 2 years.
Okay. All right.
That's what I'm saying. 5 touchdowns, 2 years.
I mean, that's nasty. Dude was joystick, human joystick.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our first team D-line.
Okay.
All right. First team D-line. We got still in the 3-4.
Okay.
Richard Seymour, Geno Atkins, and David Pollock.
Okay.
That's why Geno wasn't on my second team. Listen, Geno got drafted in the 4th round, but he had first round talent, and he's shown as much still being in the league and dominating. Like, the dude was a bad boy. Richard Seymour, senior year, was 2000. He was an All-American, so he qualified by 1 year.
Okay. Okay, so
and we don't even really need to talk about David Pollock.
You know,
3-time All-American.
David Pollock is definitely on my first team. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I may have did it wrong. So my other 2 people, I put them on the line, but they technically, I guess you may not consider them as linemen, but they're kind of DN, so I consider them to be linemen. Okay? So we can make that argument.
Okay.
And plus, I didn't think Seymour counted, but I guess he was.
Yep.
So I'm going to say I had them coming on the line because they line up. I think they put their hand in the dirt. Quentin Moses.
He was a DN. Matter of fact, he was a DN. He played with David Pollock 1 year, and he got off the year he played with David Pollock.
Off.
Yeah.
Quentin Moses balled out. I mean, at least 2 strong years.
Yeah, he did.
So I have Quentin Moses, David Pollock. This other guy, you're gonna say he's a linebacker, but I'm gonna put him on the line because I didn't. You gonna put him in linebacker? I'm gonna put him on the line, and that's Justin Houston.
That's right. I can see why you put him on the line. And with that said, that's right. My linebackers, Justin Houston is the outside linebacker. Jarvis Jones And then my inside linebackers, Roquan Smith and Renee Curran.
Okay, so we're similar. Okay, so my outside linebackers definitely C-Town's finest. Got to represent Jarvis Jones. I wish he could have played all 3 seasons at Georgia. I mean, this guy, he would have broke every record.
Bruh, okay? He would have. He easily.
He's like LT. So I'm gonna say Jarvis. Leonard Floyd, I put on my other outside.
See, I had Leonard Floyd on second team. Justin, I had him because he technically was a linebacker, right. But you are right. He put his hand in the dirt a lot more than Leonard Floyd.
Right. So I put Leonard Floyd there because you're not getting a pass off between Jarvis and Leonard Floyd. You're not going to get a pass off.
Yeah.
Them two coming. You know what I mean? Roquan, definitely.
Definitely.
I'm so glad that it worked out where he ended up at Georgia and not
UCLA. What you hate is, man, we almost lost that dude to Cal. I mean, not Cal, but USC, man.
UCLA.
UCLA. Yeah. I knew it was one of the California schools.
And I'm
like that close.
You put Rennie on your first team. I put him on my second team. And like I said, we just swapped these. But here's why I thought about it. This guy was so intimidating. And I wish he would have this guy, Alec Ogletree. I would not want to be a running back and face Alec Ogletree. Now, I could run. I know Ren's going to, pop me. But, I may get up and play the rest of the game. If Alec Ogletree hit me.
See, I felt like what you were saying about Isaiah Mckenzie and some other guys. Like Alec Ogletree had bigger highlights than Renee Curran.
Right.
But Renee Curran, like I said, if I had to pick one linebacker for college.
Right. Oh, he was a great college player.
Bruh, it might be Rennie. Because Rennie, he is there every down all the time.
And I always like the guys, like I said, that are undersized a little bit, scrappy. They say they're not supposed to be. That's him.
Yeah.
He packed his lunch every day.
Every day. All right. So we got a lot of the same guys, just flip-flopping on first team, second team.
Yeah.
All right. So for the finale, them boys is going to lock it down.
Oh, yeah.
When you need, and it's time to lock it down, my first team secondary, on the outsides, on the islands, I got Deandre Baker and Tim Jennings. Okay. I'm like, you're not getting the pass on. Deandre didn't have a whole bunch of highlights, but Deandre didn't give up a touchdown in 3 straight seasons. I don't care what era you play in.
Right. That's hard.
That's hard. And then for my safeties, I got the man Thomas Davis.
Okay.
The hit machine, the tackling machine. What I used to try to tell people about Thomas Davis and Greg Blue, they the same player. I'm like, no, they're not. Greg Blue was a bigger hitter.
He's enforcing.
Thomas Davis was a better tackler.
Yeah, he's more like a true safety.
Yeah, and then the best safety to me to ever play at Georgia in our time, Sean Jones.
Okay.
Now, it was another guy that almost made the second team, but Bakari ended up beating him out. And that was Rashad Jones.
Rashad Jones was really good.
Rashad Jones was really good.
He's my honorable mention.
Yeah, but Sean Jones, I just love the way Sean Jones could cover, he could tackle. It didn't matter. So give me your all 21st century team, defensive back, first team.
We pretty much flip-flop, but, I understand it. So my first team at safety, I picked Bakari Rambo, free safety. And the other guys are free safety too, but I just had to have them both there. And that is, as you said, Sean Jones. So Bakari and Sean Jones were my first team. Like I said, Dominic and Thomas Davis were my second team.
Yeah.
Now, when it came to DB, we definitely agree on Deandre Baker. And I like Tim Jennings was my second team, and it was hard because I felt like Tim Jennings and Deandre are similar players, but Jennings is like 3 inches shorter. And there were a couple times early on, where he may have got bodied a little bit, because people just, they're a little bigger in their position, so he caught the ball. But after that, he was locked in. But I'm going to tell you who I put on the other side that you didn't. Okay? And we already said his name. And he won the award. Brandon Boykin. What was he a finalist?
Well, he won the Paul Hornick Award for the best all-around player. All around, yeah.
And finalist, wasn't he?
He was a Thorpe Award semifinalist.
Okay, semifinalist. This guy, we had to go back and look at the tape. I don't remember too many people. I mean, he locked it down on corner. That's a no-fly
Well,
zone.
now that we take it into consideration, I can see why you put it, because not only was he locking people down on the outside, he was doing that while having to be on offense here and there and special teams here and there. Whereas DeAndre and Tim just straight played, DB.
And you got to look. I mean, I don't know how many interceptions he had. He had a lot of pass breakups. He had a lot of interceptions that I remember.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that Brandon Boykin couldn't do. Like I said, the man was like amazing to me. Like I said, tackle, cover, intercept, knock down, kickoff return, catch the ball on wide receiver. And if you put him on gunner, he probably did that too.
You're right about that. Like he was the jack of all trades at Georgia. Now.
So I put him at DB because I felt he was a slight edge better than Jennings. He had a little more height.
Yep.
And like I said,
he probably had a little bit more speed too.
Oh yeah, had more speed, had more height. I felt like he was more of a ball hawk in college. Now Jennings was a ball hawk in the league, but
even though Jennings had more interceptions at Georgia than Brandon Boykin.
Even though, like I said, because he also had pass breakups.
Yeah, you're right.
This guy, you know what I mean? I was like, when you think about defensive backs, to me, he's number 2, just about that we saw. Number 1 being Champ. And this guy was the second coming to me after that.
Yeah.
But I like Jennings, but you didn't mention Boykin, but I feel like Boykin was that dude.
Well, Boykin was in the running, but I'm like, I already got him on kick return. And since this is an all-century team, I was like, I'm just going to give each person one job. Because technically, Boykin was up for DB, kick returner, and punt returner.
He was the man.
So he was the man. So with that said, after I did this, it's crazy because, it's only been 2 coaches at Georgia in the last 20 years, Mark Richt and Kirby Smart. Who do you think had the most players on the list? I mean, this is why Georgia fans was mad at Mark Richt.
Here's the thing. I can understand, but he didn't do defense, but he's a head coach, so he's responsible.
He's responsible.
Right? He's responsible. But if you look at like all the coordinators, you look at all that, some of that plays a factor too, right? But he hired him. But I would say he had more people on this list. He had a lot of talent, but at the same time, he played against a lot of squads. Mark Richt, and like I said, I'm not going to defend him. I mean, I felt like he probably had 3 chances to win a national championship, but he played against the Urban Meyers, he played Nick Sabans, and Steve Spurriers. Now, those are all 3 GOATs.
Yep.
And that's tough. Now, Kirby has to go against Nick Saban, old Nick Saban.
But with the rule changes, I'm pretty sure some Alabama fans might argue that last year's team is as good as any.
They might argue that, and it's funny when you look at the draft. They have more people draft, but I look at
depending on what rules we playing by. Are we playing with targeting, or are we not playing with targeting? You know what I'm saying?
Matters, yeah.
Yeah, because if you're playing in the targeting era now, you can't even really touch the wide receivers now.
Right. You're right. So it's wide open. But like I said, when I look at it, and like I said, not defending him, but he had to face 3 of the greatest coaches in college football history.
That's true.
And they're in his league, right? So you walking down that.
At least Kirby is like. At least Kirby don't have to go through Dabo every year. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like I said, Urban Meyer and the teams they had in Florida, Nick Saban, then Steve Spurrier. I mean, that's murder. That's death row right there. So I'm gonna say, Mark Richt had a lot of talent. Did he always maximize his talent? No. Okay, I'm not gonna be in denial. But like I said, I mean, there's a lot of other things that contributed to his success or lack of success. But I would say we definitely had a lot of talent early on, and he had a lot of talent.
Okay, well, that's a good session, man. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of days, couple of weeks, whatever you need. And we're going to come back and talk about offense.
Offense, okay.
The thing that used to sell tickets, but apparently now it wins championships.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Thanks for joining us in today, KC. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you don't agree with something that we said or we forgot a player that you didn't know about, leave it down in the comments. Let us know who we might have forgot about. There was a lot of good players that came through from 2000 to 2020. And it's almost impossible to remember everything what everybody did. But these are all personal opinions. But this is mine and this is Kermit's. And we are out.
Out.
Deuces.